Hi, I'm Kevin Klein. I want to share some very good news with you. A motion that I moved at City Council on November 25th was passed unanimously. Homes for Heroes now will be offered a piece of land to purchase as per the motion that passed at City Council. I'm very excited about this because if you look at the agenda for the City of Winnipeg's council meeting, you can see that there's lots of very good reports on the Winnipeg poverty reduction strategy, public service measures to acknowledge and support, the Life Safe policy statement. We wanted to accept the UN guidelines. And there's all kinds of those virtue signaling motions that passed at council. This motion actually gets something done. This motion actually will get to work helping people the moment the construction is done. There's no waiting. There's no coming back to the city for more money. This is helping those who served our country, our vulnerable residents who returned from active duty from different parts of the world and ended up living on the streets of Winnipeg. There's over 200 homeless vets in Winnipeg, over 40% of whom are indigenous. Many are female. This program will house 20 vets to start, and then the program will work, and more vets will be brought in as vets graduate out of the program to start their new normal life. Here's what was said by not only myself, but by some of my colleagues, which was concerning, but in the end they voted yes. Take a look.
We've got these assets. We've got this space. This is an opportunity, and one that I can't believe that the public service came to a spot where they can agree with the motion that was brought on the floor of PP&D by Councillor Klein. I was shocked. I was sitting up in that gallery. Couldn't believe it. So we're trying to do things for veterans. And this motion, it's a good one.
But I want to acknowledge that we don't have a report from the public service here. There could have been other properties if they had have been asked. And, you know, a walk-on motion that goes right up to council without the time built in for a report is a difficult motion indeed, and I don't think it is fair, Madam Speaker, to put the words of the public service in this when they were not given time to do a report on it, and the record does show that in part, other than their verbal reports at committee. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And for the record, I did not vote for the motion at SPC because it came together in just over 30 minutes. Councillor Nason didn't speak at SPC, so I was kind of wondering what that was all about. For me, it was just too fast to make a decision. There, like Councillor Eady states, there was no report, there was no background from the public service, there was just kind of questions we were asking them at the time.
Let's go. Let's roll. I'm going to vote for it. Good work by Nason and Klein, and especially Gilroy for steering this through her committee. So I'm supportive.
Councillor Klein, to close on your amending motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me address some of the comments that were made, because I think it's important to address them, because we've had lots of opportunity to ask questions of each other. Nobody has. No one's ever sent an email. No one's ever sent made a phone call, nothing. So, to Councillor Eady's questions, which are fair, and I thank him for asking them, the land that he was referring to was 2 acres of land that we sold for $1 to the Winnipeg Housing Organization to build residences. And they're hoping to get funding. They're under a time crunch. So is the Homes for Heroes. In meetings with them held by the public service, I was in attendance and others, the public service determined that that wouldn't be the best location. And they then moved that location to closer to the rec center. And then we were told that Community Services, Councillor Rowlands is the chair of that department, needed that land. And then after a brief period of time, all of a sudden they did some checking. Whoops, we don't need that land anymore. People were going to sell it. We're just going to sell it. So we're talking about a very different parcel of land. The the motion for amendments that I'm putting forward today are because of a result of the Public Service's work to ensure that the proper access and infrastructure is there, thus reducing the amount of land to a certain extent and allowing for agreements to be made. I've heard that cost is a factor. Like we're only selling this for $400,000. We heard from the Public Service that piece of land is valued anywhere between $700,000, $1,000 to possibly $1 million one day, but they couldn't confirm it. I will point you to a motion you all voted on that said any land for sale by the City of Winnipeg would be offered to not-for-profits first for $1. This is a not-for-profit. Big picture. Let's look at the big picture. We spend $80,000 a year, according to Stats Can, at minimum on residents living on the streets of Winnipeg, vulnerable residents. We know from the Government of Canada that over 200 vets are unfortunately homeless on the streets of Winnipeg. Over 40% are indigenous. Think about what you're saying and what you've said before. And most, not all, but a large majority, are women. They're there because they put their lives on the line for our country and they suffered a brain injury. I call it that because I spent some time with some vets about this program and talking to them about that. And I met one young man that just about drove me to tears. It was a brain injury. It's not PTSD, he said. It's a brain injury. The stuff I saw, the stuff I had to do. Dave Howard couldn't be here today because he's opening another facility with the mayor of Edmonton. They graduated another few residents from Calgary who were vulnerable residents living on the streets in Calgary and are now full-time volunteers for Homes for Heroes because they have a house and a full-time job, thanks to Homes for Heroes. Every one of those people that are helped, those individuals that stood for us, actually saves the city $80,000 a year. There's 200. And Homes for Heroes is going nowhere until every vet is no longer living on the street. This motion wasn't just a walk-on. We know that they've tried to be here. And they want to be here because of 17 Wing. And they feel that we have a serious issue with our vets. Indigenous, over 40%. This is a solution. I look at everything we voted on today, and they're very nice stuff. The Winnipeg poverty reduction and so on. There's the safety measures and so on. None of those programs offer a solution today. When this place gets built, people move in right away. They're not asking us for money. They're willing to pay $400,000 plus, because I asked the department sent me some notes. They like to say this site, it ranged from 1.4 million based on the highest and best for multifamily, da-da-da-da-da. But here's the reality. This organization is going to have to pay for site recovery for 1 acre, probably $160,000. Cha-ching. Now we're at $560,000. They're probably going to have to pay, or they do have to pay for site remediation. Cha-ching. That's $200,000 at least. So we're up, according to the Public Service, because we're going to have subdivision costs and other costs associated with the development, over $700,000, maybe $800,000, because they have to pay for the servicing. This isn't about for the ward. The community services themselves said they don't need this land. It's sad that Homes for Heroes is in Edmonton launching a brand new facility. When we had the PP&D meeting about this, it was sad that he was in Kingston launching another one because Kingston gave them the land and money. It's sad that while we were discussing this and it was in the media, the mayor of Brandon contacted Homes for Heroes offering land and funding. Did we? Listen, I'm not going to get into what happened in the past any more than that. There's a fact of the matter. We have a serious problem in our city. We have citizens that have to live on the street, and many of them are vets. This is a solution and a program that costs you nothing. In fact, they're going to pay you to do it. And then they're going to save money because they're going to help residents and vets get off the street and get back to their lives, saving you $80,000 minimum per year. It's not hard math to do. I get that I'm different than most, and I know sometimes I get told what people think and say about we don't want his motions to go or whatever, but take me out of this. I didn't come here to fight with any of you or to be political. I came here to get things done. This, to me, gets things done. I feel this is a good thing for our city, and I appreciate most of all, like Councillor Gilroy and I often will joke and have fun at meetings, but when it was necessary, and Councillor Santos, I have to acknowledge her, when it was necessary, we got to work. And we came up with a plan that works. We got something done that day. Just because it went fast, don't let that scare you. That's how things happen in the real world sometimes. They go fast. And this is a solution, and we need a fast answer. We need to react faster. I'm not going to belittle any of the other motions that are forward. But this is the only one that begins to help. Day one. I wanted to get things done as your elected representative. That's why I wanted to go to City Council, to get things done. I felt nothing really is accomplished, or it takes time for everything. So yes, some of my colleagues said, well, this is so fast, this is going to, we don't normally work this fast. Right. But we can and we should when it's a solution, because I think that's what you want. I mean, we had a COVID economic response and recovery plan. There was no detail, no objectives, no strategy in the plan that was tangible. Nothing. Just lots of really good political talking points, we'll call them. Same for the poverty reduction plan. An expensive report, a well-written report, but however, nothing in there to really help people in our community that live in poverty. They don't care about the report. We want to see action. Same with the Life Safe policy statement and the UN statement that we read in. All of this is great for politicians, but it doesn't get anything done. Homes for Heroes gets something done. We have more to do. We have to get more done. And I want to see more of this happen at City Hall. And I'm going to continue pushing to have more solutions brought forward. Not reports, not political soapbox items. Solutions for you and for our city.